Good morning. My name is Enrique Zamora. I'm the Chief Special Magistrate for the City of Miami Beach, and I'm going to be hearing cases this morning. Before we get started, I'm going to ask those of you who are going to be testifying this morning to please stand up to be sworn in.
Ma'am, are you saying anything?
I'm an attorney.
No, I know you're an attorney. I'm talking about this young lady here.
Oh, right here?
Yes. Is she going to speak at all?
I'm
No?
speaking on her behalf.
Okay. Oh, hi, Damien. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You may be seated. Okay, let's call the first case.
Okay, Your Honor, it's on page 2, number 3, SMB 19-523. It's 5401 Collins Avenue.
Okay, I got it. I don't have numbers on the...
Yeah, but they're right in.
That's fine. I just wanted
Okay.
to make sure. Okay. So yes, this is number 3. What are we here for?
No, he's talking about the files.
A request to stop the fines.
A request to stop the fines? Okay.
It's actually twofold, Special Magistrate, if I may.
Let me.
Okay.
Let's start with your name first, please.
Okay. My name is Christine Santiesteban from the law firm of Siegfried Rivera. Represent as General Counsel the Association, the Carriage House.
Okay.
Excuse me, Christine, what's your last name?
Santiesteban,
Can you spell that,
of
please?
course. Santiesteban.
V is in Victor?
B as in boy.
B is in boy?
Yes.
A-N?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so you were saying, I'm sorry.
So this is actually somewhat of a complex matter. The association has a violation in one of its hallways, and to access the plumbing, which it had a permit for, it had to go through the roof. It started going through the roof, and an inspector came to the property and said, hold on, you can't go through the roof to access the plumbing without a permit. And then a violation was issued. Violation number 2017-2184. The association seized all work. It obtained a permit number BC 173975, and the permit was linked to the violation. Simultaneously, the association pulled a permit for commencement of work on a party room on the other side of the building. These permits are not related. These items don't correspond by any means. Nevertheless, the party room permit was attached to the violation. We've asked the city various times to unlink the party room violation, as it doesn't correspond to the hallway incident and the permit that was pulled. All the work that was done on the hallway and in the roof was completed. Final inspection was performed, and pursuant to the records we've received from the city, that issue is finalized. However, we cannot close the violation because the unrelated party room permit is connected to that violation. We are seeking to unlink them, close the violation and for the 2017-2184 case, and additionally, any fines that has accrued since the cure date of January.
We're not hearing fines today.
Okay.
Okay, so don't
Okay.
worry about that. That mitigation is a separate
Okay,
matter.
we can
Go
deal
ahead.
with that at a later date. But at this juncture, we'd like to make sure that the party room permit is unlinked from the violation, as it had nothing to do with the violation.
I guess I've never been asked to do that before, but let me hear from the city.
Absolutely. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Yes, the permit was issued for electrical, plumbing, and new drop ceiling in corridors and lobby. The permit that was issued, that is in final status, like she mentioned, is for the exhaust duct demo of lobby and roof. So it doesn't cover the same things. You have pictures here of the framing on the corridors. That would not be covered under this permit. There was new plumbing that was added.
So as far as the city is concerned, what still remains to be done before
A permit needs to be pulled for the corridors, there's new windows, I don't know where.
But this is the first we've heard of this, and I have correspondence from the city, which we provided earlier this week that has confirmation from the city saying, we understand and we will unlink this violation. It just never,
I'm sorry, are you
We
reading from
understand.
someone's email?
yes.
Who
it
sent you an
is
email, please?
Rashonda Blatch, Building Permit Service Manager for the Building Department.
Would you read the email for the record, please?
Of course. Good morning. Both permit must be renewed before I can do any changes. Please complete a work permit application signed by the contractor and the owner, officer of record. Please see below and advise if this is accurate. BC 18-07413, violation US 2017/2184, evidence of work done without a permit, electrical, plumbing, and new drop ceiling in corridors and lobby. Need to obtain a permit and inspections. If compliance is not obtained by the due date, a penalty of $500 shall apply. BC 170375 will be unlinked from violation UC 2017-1238.
Okay, so it says there that it's going to be on link,
It
correct?
was never unlinked, though.
Okay.
Your Honor, if I might add.
Yes, yes,
I think what's happening here, it's become very confusing, and there are two issues, and we're kind of talking about apples and oranges. One is the party room, and yes, that should be unlinked, and that's what the email from Ms. Blatch to council has indicated. But there's something else that the inspector is saying, Mr. Alvarez is saying, because the scope of the permit that was for the roof did not include certain plumbing elements and other elements that Mr. Alvarez articulated. So they can't close there's two things that are happening here. One is the unlinking of the party room, which we all agree is the appropriate measure to take. The other is revising the scope of the permit for the damage from the roof and the hallways to include those other elements that Mr. Alvarez spoke about.
Oh, that one is final. if I
That's
may say.
final?
Yeah, so they would need to put another permit for the rest of the work that wasn't included.
Okay. So there's still work there's still scope of work that's missing from the actual violation. So the city does
Okay.
not oppose the request,
We-
obviously, to
we
stop
have
the
no
fines
issue on
because of the
linking party
computer.
room, right?
Okay. So, the fines are running at the rate of $150 a day. I'm going to stop the fines as of today, all right? So you know, the total right now is a little over $37,000. That's, like I said, that is for another day. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to reset this case for December 9th. And in the meantime, you're going to be working with the city to try to work this out. If it gets done and they say you're in compliance, you should have time to file a petition for mitigation. There's a separate form that has to be filled out. And then, if that's what happens, on December 9th, we'll hear your petition for mitigation. And if not, we'll hear whatever is going on in the case.
Understood.
Excuse
Okay.
me, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
Can we move that to January?
No,
Because
no, not happening.
December's full.
not happening. We're adding December 9th,
Okay.
okay?
Special Magistrate, though, this is the first that we've heard of any other items that needed to be completed. For our records, we were advised that everything was finalized. We've never heard of anything other.
I think that what's,
Council, you
Yeah,
need to, listen, you need to get together with them.
With him,
the
okay.
Work it out.
disconnect is that permit that you pulled is finalized, but the permit did not include the full scope of the violation. So there's some items that need to be addressed, and Mr. Alvarez certainly
Listen,
can
you
tell
can
you
show
what
you,
they are.
get some pictures of,
Okay, I'll take a
So
picture of
so
that.
you probably need to get with Mr. Alvarez and work it out, but the fines are stopping as of today.
Thank you.
So we'll give you a chance to work it out, and then we'll hear it again on December 9th.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you so much.
For a progress report or just being reset, as you
Well,
mentioned?
it's going to be heard, not for a progress report, to get it done. I mean, at that point in time, a decision will be made, but if the case already is in compliance and a petition for mitigation has been filed, then it will be the mitigation that will be heard on December 9th.
Okay, so I'll keep it as reset for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank
All right?
you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Your Honor, I think what Cindy was talking about was, it's not It can't be reset for today because today's request was to stop the fine, so it really does have to be a progress report and/or mitigation.
Correct. No, well, and I don't want to call it a progress report because it's not going to be a progress report. We need to make a decision at that point in time.
But then we can't really set the hearing for mitigation without the case
And
being...
and I'm not setting it for mitigation.
So it's just going to be an add-on if council contacts me, I'll work with Cindy to set it?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, is that clear? It's
Yes.
just,
Yes.
you know.
It won't be a mitigation unless we follow paperwork.
December 9th, if it's not in compliance, the special master, is not going to be me, is going to decide when this has to be in compliance or the fines will be restarted. Now, if it's already in compliance and you file a petition for mitigation and speak to Steve, you should be able to get it on the calendar for
For December
mitigation.
9th.
Okay?
Yeah, but the problem is if Cindy doesn't set it as a progress report, it won't show up on the 9th for the special master, the presiding special magistrate.
Well, I understood, but what I'm doing is I'm resetting the case for December 9th, and not as a progress report. Let's say like a continuance.
But you've granted the relief for today, that's why I'm confused, and I apologize.
That's right. Now, well, you're right, because I did grant release for today.
Yeah,
I stand
that's why there's
corrected.
nothing pending at that
You're right.
point.
Yeah, so make it,
Progress report?
yeah, progress report. Okay, all right.
And then, of course, if they are in mitigation, we could deal with that issue.
Okay, so now I'm confused.
No, it's very simple. Come back on the 9th.
I'm coming
as a
back on the
progress
9th.
report.
Nevertheless,
But in the meantime, work this out
of course,
with building, okay?
to finalize the scope and make
Yes.
sure
Right,
everything is
and
compliant.
if you're in compliance, then we'll work on the application for mitigation, and the hearing will go forward as a mitigation.
Should the application be filed prior to December 9th?
You can
Oh,
do it, but it
definitely,
can't be set.
definitely. It has to. If it's not filed, I'm not letting anything be scheduled for mitigation unless the petition is filed.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
All right.
Just leave it. That's fine.
Okay?
That's good. Yeah, that's fine.
I'll put it here.
Anywhere.
I'm confused.
Anywhere. Okay.
Okay.
You're on page 1, number 2, SMB 19, 468, 5700 Collins Avenue.
Okay. Who's here in this case?
Yes, this gentleman is here. They're requesting to stop the fines.
All right.
There is a fine imposed on this property.
Let me hear, your name, sir?
Edson, Edson. Last name is Michel, Michel.
And you are representing Jacqueline Webson, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir. Sorry.
all right. Now, so you know the daily fines are running at the rate of $150 per day, and the present balance is in excess of $55,000. So you know how much money there's there, but you were asking me to stop the fines. Question is, why should I stop the fines? Go ahead.
Okay. First and foremost, at a certain point, we didn't know that there were fines running on the property. I think the last time we were here disputing this case was in 2020, maybe a week before COVID went into place, a week or two. Thereafter that, Jacqueline Webson did suffer a stroke and was in the hospital for a number of months for recovery and rehab. So there were times where I believe mail was sent to the property and was just being overlooked, in a sense.
You know, I don't want to interrupt you, but what you're talking to me about is probably more proper
Right.
at the time that we consider mitigation.
Right,
Right now, you're asking me to stop the fines.
right.
First of all, what is left to do before?
Well, there's really nothing much left to do. As per that, we did request for the permit. We did have hire a general contractor. He did put in for the permit. We had architectural plans completed, which I have in front of me right here. I believe the permit is in place. We're just waiting for approval on the permit in order to
So
have a
how
fine.
long do you think it's going to take?
I'm not sure, to be
fair.
honest with you.
Let me-
We
let
did
me-
our part.
Let me hear from the city, see what the city is going to say about that.
Yes, Your Honor. The original violation was a kitchen remodel and to include the floor. The permit's in apply status now, so that, you have, with time, maybe they can correct it, is only for kitchen cabinets. So they will need to add, we have the pictures here as well,
Okay.
the floor with the soundproofing and whatever it is they did to the kitchen, where there was tile added also on the walls. It's just like a full kitchen renovation.
Okay.
So how long do you think it should take to,
Usually when we get a permit in apply status, we give them 90 days for the permit process to go through.
well, how long? Give me a number of days. How long do you think?
90 days, 90 days.
90
That's what
days.
we usually give them.
Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop the fines for 90 days, which will be December 24th. Okay?
Okay.
Excuse me, make sure that they attach it to the violation because it's not linked. So
Correct.
you gotta let the permit counter know for proper
I do,
follow-up.
sorry.
Go ahead, go
It's
ahead.
not linked.
I do have a question. So the kitchen and, so it's not linked together as kitchen and flooring? Or,
It's not linked to the
What you're saying is
violation.
even the flooring is not linked to the violation. It's on the parcel to the property, that's how we found it, but it's not linked to the violation itself. It needs to say to correct violation, so and so, on the description
on the description of the?
of the permit.
Of the permit?
Right.
So that goes through my contractor? I have to, okay, make sure that he,
Include whatever it is that he's doing, have him say to correct this violation.
kitchen and flooring violation, okay. And then, once that is completed, I just want to know as far as being able to get somebody back out there to do a final,
Right, like I said, while it's in the application status, you have 90 days for the review to go through.
okay,
And as soon as you get your permit initial status, I'll call an inspector.
okay. But on there, it needs to say kitchen and flooring,
Yes.
okay.
Kitchen renovation and flooring.
And flooring, okay. Because that's what we have plans for. That's what's in, okay.
Are you okay with what needs to be done?
Yes,
All right. Once you complete everything and you get the final inspection and you're in compliance, then you need to file a petition for mitigation,
okay,
okay? And file it with the Office of the Special Magistrate downstairs, with this lady right here,
okay.
okay?
I've spoken to you.
You have spoken to her,
Yes.
okay. And once she has that, she'll set it down for the mitigation, and that is when we're going to talk about the things that happened that you were mentioning to me, why the fine should be mitigated, okay?
Right. Okay.
Any questions?
No, I think we're good.
All right, so remember, December 24th, okay?
Okay.
Probably the same question you're going to
Yeah, Your Honor, you're granting the request to stop the fines only until December 24th.
Correct, I'm stopping the fines from today until December 24th.
Okay, so then what happens after that?
Until we
We're
restart again. The
at
fine.
this, at $100 a day?
At 150 a day, that's what I have here.
So
I
if,
don't
Now,
have my-
let me say something. Let's say that something happens and you cannot meet that deadline. You need to ask for additional time before December 24th, so that the fines will not begin to run again.
okay,
Understand? Something goes wrong, I don't know, anything could go wrong, and you need more time. Ask us for more time before December 24th,
okay,
and then we'll stop the fines again, okay?
All right.
But hopefully, that should be enough for you to finish.
If you could
Okay.
address any questions, have him call me. I'll explain to him.
Damien, what's your
okay.
case
So
number?
once again, just to put in there that it's kitchen and flooring, because everything is pretty much done. We just have to request a finding.
But just so they can cover the violation, it needs to say kitchen remodeling and flooring. We will inspect that when they do.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
All right? Thank you, sir.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you for being here.
Your Honor, number 4 on page 2, SMB 2020-658, 5313 Collins Avenue, 658.
Got it?
Okay. Your Honor, they're making a request for an extension of time to comply. Their request was timely. However, at this moment, it's in an open status case because I have no affidavit of noncompliance. Noncompliance was supposed to run on June 25th at $150 a day. I have not received that yet, as an
Okay.
FYI.
Good morning, sir. Your name, please?
Good morning, Damian Gallo Jr. from Permit Doctor, 775 17th Street, representing the owners at 5313 Collins Avenue, Unit 902.
Okay, thank you, sir. Let me hear from the city first. Let me know where this is, and I'll get back with you.
Sure.
Mr. Alvarez, please.
Yes, Your Honor, this was for new floors, basically, and what we have here is two different permits, one in applied status, one in issue status, with the same description. But for some reason, the one in applied status was submitted after the issued permit. Nonetheless, the one in issue status has no inspections that have been completed.
What needs to be done?
They need to consolidate that into one permit.
Okay?
It's called inspections, because either one has inspections, even though it's in issue status.
The permit we're going to proceed with is the one that ends in 262. The other one was a mistake and just needs to be canceled. The
Okay.
contractor is working on 10 other units in the building that have similar violations. He's finishing 1107, I believe now, and this is the next unit he's jumping to. The work is very minimal. We expect the inspections and work to take place in the next 30 to 60 days. If I can request 90 days, I think we'll be in compliance.
Okay, so because the request was made timely, I'm going to, I guess, stop the fines were supposed to be running since, so we're
I don't
gonna-
have it.
Yeah, so we're not going to have any fines outstanding because it was a timely made request. And I'm going to give you the 90 days that you requested, which would be December 24th. And after December 24th, I will have a daily fine of $150 to be in line what was originally in the initial order that now is being sort of set aside because it was a timely request. Okay, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
So December 24th, no fines until that day. After that, $150 a day.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Your Honor, unfortunately, that's all that's in the courtroom this morning,
Well,
at
that's
least for
then,
now.
let's see what else we have here. Make sure that we have service.
Okay, well, number one,
Uh-huh.
the SMB 219-270 for 7133 Bay Drive, number one on page
I have
one.
it.
I received a very quick email this morning
Uh-huh.
that she was assuming that it was going to be virtual.
Okay,
Okay, that's number one. And then number two, she said, I'm not in Florida, I'm in New Jersey. And everyone got far away notice for all these hearings today.
okay, so, and this would have been a progress report, correct?
Yes, Your Honor. And there is a lien on the property.
There is what?
A lien.
A lien on the property?
I believe I've provided you with a fines and
Okay.
lien screen.
Mr. Alvarez, tell me the status of this case, please.
I'm sorry, what was the case again?
Oh, SMB 219-270 for 7133 Bay Drive.
Yes, Your Honor, that was for new partitions, new AC, and new electrical installation. There was a permit that was applied to cover the issue, but it expired in, no, actually.
So what remains to be done?
So it's in issue status to expire in January of next year. So I guess you just call inspections under the permit.
But has anything been going on since the
There are
last?
no inspections, but it is in issue status.
What?
They need to call inspections.
They did not call for
They
inspection?
haven't called for inspections, but the permit is in issue status and it's not due to expire till January.
In other words, they have to call for an inspection by January to extend the permit or to bring it into compliance.
Finally, right?
I
So
just
if
didn't
you
hear.
wanted to set it after January as a progress report, or if you wanted to set a compliance date in February, because the permit's only good through January.
Listen, if I try to get something else booked before the end of the year, this lady here is going to get very upset.
That's true.
What's that? I'm sorry?
If I try to schedule anything else before the end of the year, you're going to get very upset. That's what I'm
Well,
saying.
Your Honor,
No, I understand. You have a lot of cases. I understand.
let me just explain. It's just that until we get to 2022, I have to split up the amount of cases between building and code.
I understand.
So that will cut code short for the afternoon.
I understand.
But if you want to continue
No,
on the
I mean,
December 9th,
I don't think
I'm
that,
good with it.
I mean, this particular case doesn't have any, health, safety issues or anything like that, so I am going to reschedule it for a progress report. And when is it in January? Because,
You can go the 13th, you can go, it's pretty much illustrated. You got January 13th is a full calendar day for building.
Let's do January 13th,
Okay.
okay?
Are you treating the email as a request for continuance for the
Yes.
order so that the continuance is granted, a progress report?
Continuance is granted because the alleged violator thought it was going to be a virtual hearing. I understand that might confuse some people still, so we'll grant that as a continuance for that day.
And do you want me to not assess the 106?
Yeah, do not.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So we're just going to go along as the calendar. So it'll be, your next one should be 717, am I correct?
That is correct.
Okay, SMB 2020-717 for 2316 Bay Drive. It's number 5 on page 3. He's right on top of things.
We do have service, but there's no one here. So, CD may proceed, Mr. Alves.
Yes, Your Honor, this is for a 40-year review. It was last reviewed on 9/12/2020, and it failed because it had permits and violations in open status. Nothing else has been submitted since.
And this is a 40-year,
Certification.
and they haven't done anything?
No, they submitted apparently a report back in 2020, but it was failed. It was denied because there were pending permits and violations that were in open status.
Suggestions from the city?
Well, Your Honor, the relief today was to request an extension of time, and was proper service and a no-show, so the request should be denied.
Very well. But what happens next? I want to make sure that we keep track of this.
Well, there is a compliance date in the file. They haven't met their compliance date, so fines should be running.
Yeah, but
Yes. Unless it was stopped, which I can't tell.
Well,
At
no,
some
because
point.
they're asking for an extension of time, so
the fines are, based on what I have here, the fines are presently running.
Okay, good.
Okay, so they will continue to run. But if, I want to have something that is if nothing is done, it gets back on the calendar.
well, then you could bring it back as a progress report in January.
Okay, let's do that. So,
13th?
the 13th, yes.
Okay. Okay, page 3, number 6, SMB 2020-729 for 1568 Drexel Avenue. Your Honor, this was reset for proper service from August the 12th.
Well, we do have service, but there's no one here.
Your Honor, there's an ongoing battle between Mr. Offer and the principals of AJAR Holdings. Initially, when we were here the last time, I provided the court with evidence of a county court judge's order from Hialeah determining that the proper owner of the property was AJAR. Mr. Offer has challenged that. I believe there are at least 3 or 4 pending lawsuits that are in various different stages before various different judges in various different courts. Mr. Offer has maintained that he's the rightful owner, and in fact, last month, or earlier this month, he appeared on the code cases and said despite what the title says and despite what Judge Butchko may have ordered in setting aside a deed, which I'm not really understanding why there'd be a deed if this is a shareholders dispute between who controls the entity that owns the property, which I believe is DRO, and there are 2 layers of LLCs that are battling out over ownership. But Mr. Offer represented at that time that he was the rightful owner, and he took full responsibility for bringing the code cases into compliance. He's recently reached out to the finance department to explain that the conservator that was appointed by a different circuit court judge was done improperly, but that has not been ruled on yet. He said his latest email to the city late last night and early this morning in that chain reflected that he believed it would be done by the end of the week, but it hasn't. So it's pretty much in legal limbo as to who is the owner of this property at this time. The conservator is taking steps to pay the water bill and get financing. I believe it's in excess of $9,000. There are people living in it. There are also eviction lawsuits to compound the issue. And it's a difficult situation because, again, I'm reviewing orders that are different from what Mr. Offer is currently telling me, although he said he has an attorney that's working to undo everything that was done.
Let me ask you, what is the nature of the violation in this case?
In this one, I believe it's work done without a permit, but I'll let Chief Alvarez inspect.
Yeah, it's interior remodel done without a permit, including washer and dryer and some electrical installation that, according to our
So
pictures, were not
the
applicable.
tenants should not be in any kind of danger that are presently
No, it's
living
an
there.
interior remodel, there's nothing that would suggest.
I'm not even sure if this is one of the empty apartments, because I know some are occupied. I know at least
Well,
two.
but the building is in good shape.
Yeah, it's not about the building, it's about a tenant doing.
So I guess the suggestion is
January.
January. I agree, let's reset for January.
And, Your Honor, if I should get any correspondence from Mr. Offer or any additional court orders verifying or setting aside ownership or other judges' issues, I'll certainly inform Cindy so we do get the proper notice for the
Okay.
January 13th.
All right, thank you.
Don't assess the 106. Don't assess it or assess it?
Assess.
Assess it?
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know why they're not here.
okay. Okay, moving along. Page 4, number 7, SMB 2020-795 for 3710 Collins Avenue. There are fines imposed on this property, Your Honor, and they've also made a request for an extension of time. And I believe we have proper service also.
We do have service.
Yes.
Okay. So when do you get this request for extension of time?
It should be in the file, Your Honor. I think it's that one right there that you're
All right,
looking
I
at.
have it here as a request for extension of time, but
Underneath that.
let me see.
Carla, can
What
you
the
look
order
in
is.
there under my end and see when they made the request? Please. Thank you.
There are, at the present time, there is a $100 a day fine that are running, and I'm not going to stop them. So,
June 21,
Mr. Allers, tell me about this
June
case, please.
21st.
June 21st?
Yes.
Your Honor, they made the request on June 21st.
Well, that was the day exactly of when they were supposed to be. Well, I am not stopping the fines,
Denied.
okay? So, but I want to know what exactly is that, the nature of the violation, please.
Yes, Your Honor, this was issued for interior remodel of the entire unit without a permit. There is a permit and apply status, but they will have to revise it because the permit only covers the bathrooms.
Okay, so we'll do a progress report. The fines are running in January. We will do a progress report for January. But the fines will continue to run.
Okay.
I guess that takes care of the 9 o'clock, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so we're going to make a break until 10, and we'll start the 10 o'clock calendar.
Okay.
10 o'clock. Okay, good morning. We're back on again. We're at 10 o'clock calendar. My name is Enrique Zamora. I'm the Chief Special Magistrate for the City of Miami Beach. And we're going to get started. We need to swear this gentleman in since it's just coming. No, you stay. Well, you might as well. Yes, you know what? Approach them because we're going to call your case. So, yeah, please. Thank you.
Mr. Anderson, raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's call his case, Cindy, please.
Page 6, number 10, SMB 19-429, it's 6616 Collins Avenue. Your Honor, they're here for a progress report, and the fines have been imposed.
6616 Collins Avenue. I have it here.
6616, yes.
Okay. Sir, good morning.
Good morning.
Please put your name on the record.
Adam Anderson, manager of the property.
Okay. And being a progress report, you go first. Go ahead.
Okay, if I'm not mistaken, this violation is based on a 40-year certificate, which we have submitted to the city. I have a letter from Avalos, I think his name is the chief, Adalberto, from Miami Beach, who handles the 40-year certificate. He accepted the 40-year cert. We paid the fees. The letter here states the only reason it's not accepted was because we have two violations that's open. One of the violation is based on 6634 Collins Avenue, which finally my engineer finished. The city just accepted the final draft. I have an inspection for that actually tomorrow. It's pending. We already submitted it, so we're waiting for the inspection, and hopefully that will be closed. Same goes on for 6620. We have a little bit of an issue with lights, Christmas lights that tenants put up that we finally took off, but the city wanted us to have an engineer write that it was taken off correctly. The city already responded to us on what we did wrong in the engineer report. The engineer got COVID, so he couldn't respond to the remarks, but I'm at the last second on that too. So once those two get permitted, accepted, I would assume, this is to inform you that the 40-year certificate case for the property 66 has been denied. The structural comments are listed below. The comments are, we have to wait for these two violations to get approved.
Which seem to be almost...
And I'm right there.
Okay. Mr. Alvarez, anything you want to
Yeah,
add?
that sounds about right, Your Honor.
Oh, I didn't know that was you, sir. I'm sorry.
The one thing that they felt it for was, I believe it was a wrong folder number on the application.
Yes, we already took care of that.
And it was submitted with the correct
Yes.
seal on it. And yes, the violation and the permit that were in open status.
So, give you 45 days to...
That should be fine.
That should be fine?
I'm hoping that as long as the city accepts the new comments, my only issue is, it's not us, it's the engineers. The city is, I think, back on track for dancing pretty fast, but it's my engineer that I could have a problem with if they have to give more remarks.
If you have... Well, you know what? I'm going to give you 60 days.
Thank you,
November
sir.
24th.
Thank
Okay? After that, I will impose a daily fine of $100. Now, warning.
What?
Based on what I see here, you have $41,000 in fines outstanding, so
Compliance.
I would assume you want to try to mitigate that.
Yes.
So after you're in compliance,
That's
you
what they
need
told
to
me.
file a petition. Now it requires a petition to actually be filed before it can be scheduled, okay?
Understood.
So long as that, you speak to Cindy and, yes, go ahead.
Can you tell me what your ruling is again, please?
The ruling is that he has 60 days to come into compliance. That would be
November
November 24th.
Okay,
And after that, it's a $100 a day fine.
including the one that's currently running.
No, there's nothing running now.
That one has stopped?
That was stopped back on March 11th.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so there's no fines running, so we
Thank you
still
all.
have an outstanding balance in
Yes,
fines that needs
yes,
to be
yes,
addressed.
I'm aware of that.
Okay.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Stay safe.
Bye. Same here, bye.
Meeting you.
Mr. Anderson, just one thing.
Yes.
If you get a chance, call Fernanda Silva. She does the code cases.
Okay.
There might have been code cases last week or the week before that DNY were no-shows on, and it
Really?
may be because of the Zoom issue.
Oh.
But
Was
please,
there one?
I believe that there were, because I recognize the name and I know that you're here regularly on all these cases. But just check with Fernando if there were any recent cases.
Fernando.
Yeah, downstairs at the clerk's office.
I will do that right now.
Okay,
Thank you all
thank
very
you.
much. Take care.
Okay, so I guess we start from the beginning.
All right?
Number 8 on page 4, and also number 9 on page 5, which are SMB 19, 325, and 326 for 6844 Harding Avenue. Both cases are here for a progress report. The attorney representing the organization made a request on the 20th of this month for a continuance, and I believe, based on what I was checking out, this is his third request, or her third request, for a continuance,
Okay,
and they're not here.
For Mickey's case?
it is Mickey's case, and apparently I'm reading an email saying that
He wouldn't
they
be
spoke
here.
with you, Steve.
Yeah, and the city had no objection to it. He's appearing before the Aventura City Commission this morning.
Okay,
Okay.
so what would be the suggestion for this case, Steve?
To grant the continuance and reset the progress report.
Well, it has to be in January, though.
Yeah, yes, but fortunately, it's not a 40-year recertification.
Oh, it's not, okay.
No.
All right, then I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to grant
Okay.
the continuance to January, what's the date?
13th,
13th.
okay.
Okay,
Okay, 1 second.
take your time.
Alrighty, okay, number 6 is off calendar. Page 7, number 11, SMB 2020, 669 for 1620 Penn Avenue. They also made a request to stop the fines, and there are fines imposed on the property.
I have service, there is no one here.
No.
So, I mean, if they request that the fines be stopped, I expect someone to tell me why.
I understand.
But, Travelers, tell me about this violation, please.
Yes, Your Honor, this violation was for an installment of mini-split unit, so it would have been a mechanical permit, but there was nothing found on the records. There's no permits applied or issued.
So, when was it applied for? What's the date?
No, there's no records.
No, nothing.
Nothing's been applied or issued.
Very well. Suggestions?
You said this is the third time they asked for,
No, that's not them.
This is-
No.
Well, there is a $100 a day fine that is currently running, okay? So, we can just deny the request to stop the fines but I think I would like to have some date by which this has to get done, though.
Then, Your Honor, you could stop the fines and set another compliance date 60 days out if you wish.
That's an idea, okay. Let's do that.
Well, actually, if you deny, sorry, I got confused. If you're denying the request to stop the fines, then you could bring it back for a progress report in January to see where they're at. Because the fines are still running.
Okay, all right.
yeah,
The
Denied.
fines, the request to stop the fines are denied, fines continue, and it should be back for a progress report on January 13th.
Okay.
And Cindy, just going back for a second, Mickey's, both cases were together?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, they were.
And the last.
Okay,
case-
page 7, number 12, SMB 2020, 911, 865 80th Street. They made a request for an extension of time and stop the fines. At this time, I don't have a non-compliance
You know
for
what?
$200 a day. It's still in an open status.
All right, let me hear from Mr. Alvarez.
Yes, Your Honor, this is for a 4-year certification. Both electrical and structural were approved on the system already. So they submitted the reports and they were approved. But they have implemented an inspection from the building department in order to close these cases, and that hasn't happened yet.
So that's all that remains to be
That's
done?
all that remains. And I don't think it's necessarily your fault that you shall schedule the inspection, the building department, to have somebody there, they're a little backed up.
So how long do you think is reasonable to,
I would say another 30 days at least.
I'm sorry,
Another 30 days
30 days?
for that inspection to take place.
Okay. Steve, I don't know that I've done this before, but that's what I want to do. I'm going to let the fines continue to run, but if it's not in compliance by November 9th, I'm going to increase the fines.
Yes, Your Honor, you can do that. You can deny the request for
All right,
extension of time and to stop the fines as untimely, and you can set a new compliance date of November 9th,
And after that, it will-
2021, and increase the fines.
It will go up to $200 a day.
Okay, so, well, had I received a non-compliance, it would have been $200 a day. But their request was untimely.
No, wait. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, yeah, it's $200 a day as it is. So
Right.
I'm denying the request.
Okay.
Okay, so the $200 a day continues on to November 9th.
Okay,
But I was mistaken. I thought that the fines were $100 a day. There are 200. As of November 9th, if the case is not in compliance, I would increase the fines from $200 to $300 a day.
okay,
Okay?
okay. Caller, I need a non-compliance for you, from you. Okay, got it.
That concludes the 10 a.m., and we then take a break till 11. And we'll start again at 11. Thank you.
Oh, wow, already?